On the claim of the citizens Худняк Вероніки Сергіївни, Медянець Наталії Сергіївни, Романюк Юлії Вікторівни, Ярощук Аліни Сергіївни, Костюк Вікторії Романівни, to Housing and Utility Service Вузовський about the compensation of material and non-material damage caused by harm to health as a result of slippery surface and snow removal of building surrounding grounds is declared open. Secretary, I am asking you to report on the attendance of the trial participants.
Today, the plaintiff side is represented by plaintiff Худняк Вероніка Сергіївна, Медянець Наталія Сергіївна, Романюк Юлія Вікторівна, and Ярощук Аліна Сергіївна. Their representative is Коломієць Христина Сергіївна. The defendant side is represented by Бакутін Артем Олегович. Witness Самофал Єгор Геннадійович and Брутяк Ольга Богданівна. Citizen Ivan Antonovich Pavlenko will participate in court hearing in the video conference mode according to the approval number 1234/19 from the 2nd of March in 2019. Witness Petrovsky Vladislav Felixovich is absent today and have filed an applicant about consideration the case without him on reasonable excuse.
Thank you. Do all sides agree with video conference participation?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, we agree.
I am asking to pass verification. Thank you. I am asking all the witnesses to leave the courtroom. So, persons are verified. The powers of representatives have been established. So let's move on to the consideration of the case. Participants of the process, introduce yourself, please. Худняк Вероніка Сергіївна.
Thank you, Your Honor. My name is Худняк Вероніка Сергіївна. I am 1998 years of birth. I live in Odessa at Tobin Lane 8 and I work in the Children's Sports Center Champion as a trainer.
Okay, thank you so much. Медянець Наталія Сергіївна, you are welcome.
My name is Medянець Наталія Сергіївна, 1999 year of birth. I live on Heroiv Krut Street, number 2, and I'm unemployed.
Thank you. Романюк Юлія Вікторівна.
My name is Romanik Yulia Viktorovna. I live at the street Heroiv Krut 2, apartment 134, and I work as a private notary.
Thank you. Ярощук Аліна Сергіївна.
My name is Yarощuk Alina Sergeyevna, 99 years of birth. Work as a web designer, live in улиця Героїв Крут 2.
Thank you. Костюк Вікторія Романівна, you are next.
I'm Kostjuk Victoria Romanina, 1999 years of birth. I live in Odessa as the Heroiv Krut Street. I work as a painter.
Thank you. Defendant side, introduce yourself, please.
Бакутін Артем Олегович, April 6, 1919 years old. I'm the representative of the house and service Вузовський.
Thank you. So, civil hearing number 264/1769/19C on the claim of the citizens Худняк Вероніки Сергіївни, Медянець Наталії Сергіївни, Романюк Юлії Вікторівни, Ярощук Аліни Сергіївни, Костюк Вікторії Романівни, to Housing and Utility Service Вузовський about the compensation of material and non-material damage caused by harm to health as a result of slippery surface and snow removal of the building surrounding grounds is considered by Kиївський District Court of Odessa, composing of the presiding judge Кримська Ольга Олегівна, secretary of the trial Решинська Катерина Миколаївна, and the judge assistant Гегельський Максим Олександрович. Do the parties have a petitions to the judge withdrawal? Do you trust to the composition of the court? The plaintiff side.
Yes, Your Honor.
The defendant side.
deny the claim.
The plaintiff side, do you have any evidences that you were unable to submit along with the claim and justify the reasons for not submitting for relevant evidence?
Honorable Court, all our materials we add to the material of the law.
Thank you. The defendant side.
Dear court, no.
Thank you. So we are turning to the case of merits. In consideration of the case of merits, the parties provide their explanations and arguments on the factual circumstances of the case in substantiation of their claims. The plaintiff side, you are given a word. Please describe the claim and provide a brief summary of the merits. Kudnyak Veronika Sergeyevna, you are welcome.
Thank you, Your Honor. On January 12, 2018, I visited my friend Ivan Poglenko, who lives at Road 7. So in the evening when I returned to my home, I left the house of Ivan and then I slipped on icy stairs and fell there. As a result of my falling, I was injured, named closed leg fracture. So due to the same painful shock, I lost consciousness and I fall and I lie unconscious on the stairs. So my fall was caused by uncleaned before entrance stairs, which were dust-free, slippery, and not equipped with special cover to prevent slipping. So I want to emphasize that as a result of my injury, I had considerable difficulties associated with a long term of treatment and rehabilitation. Since I work as a trainer, I had to stop my professional activity for some time, sometimes because the severity of my injury and long term of treatment made it impossible to work in this sphere. I was experiencing strong moral stress associated with long term of treatment, and I had been at home for a long time, and I feel incomplete and have difficulties in moving. And so I was scared that injury may hinder my further professional activity, as the profession of trainer involves considerable physical shape, and I want to know that I was assigned a rehabilitation course which lasted until May 2019. Thank you.
Thank you, but I have some questions for you. Veronika Sergeyevna, at what time did the accident happen?
It was about 8 o'clock in the evening.
And how often do you visit your friend?
I visit my friend Ivan often since the end of last year because he is seriously ill, and he needs some help. So I want to say that each time of my visit, the stairs were slippery and uncleaned from the snow.
Thank you. The court should know this fact because it's important to know whether the problem is continuous or it's the one-time wrongdoing of the workers of the housing and utility service. Thank you so much. You can take your seat. Modielne Natalia Sergeyevna, please summarize your position.
Thank you. So on January 12, 2018, I went for a walk and slipped on the icy stairs. And to save myself and prevent injuries, I grabbed my neighbor, Romaniuk Yulia Sergeyevna, or Victorina, and as a result, we fell together. And the reason was snow-free entryways, which were slippery and dust-free. And I received a stroke of occipital region of the head and lumbar spine and concussion. And because of these injuries, rather of due to memory loss, suffered physical pain, which was of incredible strength, and also because of periodic inpatient treatment, I was dismissed from my place of work. And it's awful because I have a minor son and incapacitated mother, and they cannot work, so that's why we had a lot of material and moral problems. And also, doctors recommended to have a dispensary supervision with a neurologist and traumatologist at the place of residence, and twice a year to undergo rehabilitation therapy courses, inpatient treatment, and constantly take medication. Thank you.
Thank you so much. You can take your seat. Романюк Юлія Вікторівна, you are given the word.
Honorable Judge, on the 12th January 2018, I was going with my friend to work, as we always do, my friend Natalia Modinet. As a result, on the icy stairs, she fell, grabbed my hand, and then we fell together. I submit all the circumstances mentioned in the lawsuit, and further representation me in the court, I transfer to my attorney, who meets Christina.
Okay, Christina Sergeyevna, please introduce yourself and represent plaintiff Романюk's side.
Okay, dear court, I am Kalmytska Kristina Sergeyevna, and I'm act under the treaty with my client, signed from 18 of November 2019 year. So actually, dear court and all present here, all of us know that person's life and of course health, honor and dignity, integrity and safety are recognized in Ukraine as the highest value as well. It's prescribed in Constitution of Ukraine, and all sitting here now about these norms. But has everyone right to commit these norms? And to the legislation of Ukraine, to the Constitution of Ukraine, everyone has the right on elimination of the danger which threats to their health or in general life. And of course, which caused after any action caused by every person, and in this, by that I mean especially the action of the subject of public authority. Public authority, local governments, and of course municipal enterprise, and it's directly underlined to our defendant, have to oblige their duties and have to promote normal functioning and protection of health of everyone. With according of gross abusement of their rights, the rights of my clients, and abusement of defendants' actions, my clients promote not only material damages but also moral too. For example, plaintiff one get some treatments which are not only damage their work position, but it's also cost the material damage of their income, because after her ability to earn her money, he can't satisfy their family needs. And in general, the subject of public authority have to promote by their actions any kinds of in different groups of satisfaction of healthy. And in this case, all of us have an opportunity to see an opposite result. The action of defendant is also illegal, and they no in any way promote the normal functioning of life and normal functioning of health of my clients. Actually, I want to pay attention on one document, and it's contract between my clients and between the municipal enterprise Vuzovsky. And in this contract, which I already signed from 18/12/19, years under clause 14. And I mean actually point 1, 9, and 10 of this contract. Executor directly it's defended in its municipal service Vuzovsky. According to the clause 1, have to ensure timely and adequate quality of service provision in accordance with the law. Second, they have to control the technical condition of engineering equipment of buildings, apartments, premises, timely preparation of buildings and technical equipment for operation in the autumn and in the winter. By this, executor have to provide adequate occupancy of surrounding area. Surrounding area means the grounded and surrounded area of Heroes Crude House number 2. But we have an opposite result, if I have mentioned above. And according to the plaintiff too, for example, she had a dismissal from her work Of course, she has a lot of brushes here, broken her arms, she have a material complaint, but also he have disability from her work. Худяк Veronica, for example, works like a children trainer in the Champion. And all of us know that children's trainer have to prepare their student and their children to the competition, for example. But in result, he can't do some. And with all mentioned above, I and my clients asked the court to satisfy all of our asking in full scopes, and I want to mention that material damage will not be enough to satisfy all the result and satisfy all our treaties. But all of us knows that justice exists, and we really hope that justice will be, and in this case, guided person will keep their results too. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kristina Sergeyeva, for such a summary, but I have some questions.
Okay.
Can you answer me who called the damages?
Yes, we have one witnesses, and it's Ivan, and he also will be with us, but by from the video conference. We have one ruling and we have one motion when he asked honorable court to satisfy her needs and to came on the to us by the video, if we can.
Yes, and if you had such a problem, why wouldn't you write a complaint to the Housing and Utility Service about the elimination of slippery surface, because you knew that it can be quite dangerous?
Yes, honorable court, we asked to the defendant's side, we asked to the municipal enterprise Vuzovsky with a complaint, but any answer during 30 days which given us from according to the legislation, no answer and no result, we no good.
Yes, and it was before or after the accident?
Of course, it was after the accident, but any result we didn't see.
Okay, and the last question is, so your witness is here present today?
One witness is present today, and other witness is by the video with us.
And one more, does the plaintiff side has evidence of expenses of the treatment, like checks or?
Yes, Your Honor, of course we have some checks, we have some pre-trial countings of our needs, and we also added to the material of the case. And we have some photos as well, but our witness will represent to you as well.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Take your seat. Yarashuk Alina Sergeyevna, you are given a word.
Thank you, Honor. So on January 12, 2019, I exited the entrance of the house located at Ulica Gurov 2. I slipped on the icy stairs and fell, dropping my phone, iPhone 11 Pro. So I purchased it on January 10, 2019. As a result of my falling, I got many bruises, and my phone is in unusable state today because the sensor doesn't work because screen has crashed. So due to the lack of means of communication, I had an inconvenience, namely I was late for the flight of the plane because I had to fly for my father who got to the hospital in Dubai, car accident, you know.
Okay, thank you so much. Kostюк Victoria Romanina, summarize your position.
I transfer the representation of me to my attorney for me.
Okay, you are given a word.
25, Victoria Romanina Kostyuk also indicates that she works as an artist, and this is her main income as well. As a result of dislocation of the brush of the right hand, gypsum was imposed for a period of 31 days at the local hospital number 11 in the city of Odessa. And of course the checks and doctor's review we already added to the materials of deals. And of course, plaintiff 5 broke the really highest and really expensive vase, and this vase was from the dynasty of Win. And cost of this vase is actually around $3,000, and it's really expensive thing nowadays. But in result, she depends and she got to making of this vase different, maybe during 2 months, yes, or 3 months as well. And of course, as I mentioned before, it's her main income. And now she has actually 2 daughters, 2 minor daughters, and of course she has a mother and father who have not already worked. And according to this, she just lost her main income, and now she have to came through different rehabilitation in the 11th hospital. And of course, it takes a lot of money, a lot of time, and she has nowadays a disability of working. And of course, it's cost and violate his right, and his right on healthy, and of course his dignity right to make some money and to keep in appropriate way her family. So of course she have some material and non-pecuniary damage, and of course due to this she asked the court to satisfy in full scope her requirements. Thank you.
So the defendant side, please set out your opinion.
Dear court, we have to deny your claim. The very first
Keep silence in court.
the very first claim. You answered the question how many times does the side visit her friends. I'm sorry, this question is out of the case. Second, your women here, you have inconvenient shoes. Everybody can fall down from these chairs. I think it's
It is a lie.
We have some facts that shows that you don't pay your taxes. You don't pay for your services. We have a list from our register that shows that your claims are out of the game because you don't pay your services. Next, our service have some opposite opinion that we making our services every time on time, so we have to make it in proper quality, in proper time. So we have accounting report of our staff that shows that our staff is working every day, and there's the evidence.
You didn't do anything.
This is the evidence that our staff is working day by day, every single day. They're working out 24 hours and make everything that can make the quality service and for our clients. Next position, we didn't receive any official request in written form from our plaintiffs, and they didn't try to solve this problem in the pretrial order. So that is for now our position. We deny the claim. Thank you.
Thank you.
It's shameful lie. I can't enter there.
We want to object the position of the
What simple dwellers should do? You didn't do anything, any actions. You are ahead. Why? What simple people should do when you buy cars?
You're guilty. You're sitting.
Shameful. Shame.
Silence in the courtroom. The plaintiff side, do you have some questions for the defendant?
No, but we have any objections, maybe.
Okay, you are given the word.
Firstly, dear defendant, about the shoes, women's shoes. Really? Why shoes? We have, of course, like a woman, we have in special shoes, but it's no matter, and it is go out from our questions, and it's go out from our deals. the next situation about our plaintiff and our pre-trial claim to you. Actually, we have this claim today with us, and of course we have the checks from the post, which claim that we have already sent you the claim, and that you will have had already got our claims and of course signed on it. So your evidence isn't appropriate in this situation. And about, dear defendant, about your task and about your permission of work. It isn't true, dear court, because we have some photos from our witnesses which declaim and which one more time underline your position, defendant, about non-observating your working standards. And also we see the result. And the result is very awful today. And about your claiming that you must and that you do your work with any satisfaction, it's really false. Because you don't and you didn't, and now you are not satisfied and permit your work. Because in our situation we see an opposite result. And this result is really not promote the health and life of my clients, but also violate and also treats the health and life of our clients. Thank you.
Defendant side, do you have some questions for the plaintiff?
Dear court, honestly speaking, it will be rather better than you paid for services rather than you paid for this show, which doesn't matter in this case.
Fool, you're guilty!
Please don't make this show.
Keep
Please
silent.
don't. For your money, for your dirty show. It will be better than you really paid services on time, rather than you make some damages and you go to court and make this. Next, I don't see the clear and proper evidences like photo videos. Please show it. We don't make just we talking about. We just have where is evidences.
Thank you.
Court,
Thank you.
today, in this room, present all citizens of this town, and we should and must know about your decision, about your conclusion that was in May next year about Mrs. Kostyuk. And you should say why you decide like that. We want to know. It caused a strong resonance in our society.
I'm not obliged to answer your questions, and it's not my obligation. So please take your seat.
Пародия на правосудие.
The plaintiff side, your honor.
Yes, Honorable Court, we want to give you through the court assistant some documents which claims that damage was that our claim pre-trial may have had sent to the defendant, and actually about the doctor review of my clients through this situation. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kristina Sergeyevna. You are heard. So I think that we can go to the witness testimony.
Court clerk invites Brucek Olga Bogdanova to the courtroom.
Olga Bogdanova, introduce yourself, please.
My name is Olga Bogdanina Brucyak. I was born in 1999 and I'm working as an ambulance doctor in the city of Odessa.
Okay, and what facts do you know about the case?
So I can surely say about two accidents in this case. It's about the case of Miss Romaniuk and Miss Modielne, and also about the case of Miss Veronika Kudnyak, because I was personally present during this accident. And about the Romaniuk and Medianet's case, I can say that on January 12, about 9:24, we have got a call from somebody that on the Heroes Road Street, building number 2, there are 2 people that has injuries, and those people have quite serious injuries. One of them, it was suspicion on the fragmentation of the spinal cord, and also another one, it was a visual open injury of the facial part of the head, and also it was suspicion on the fragmentation of the hand. So our emergency brigade came to this place of accident, and about 9:30 we've been already there. So Miss Medianet, she was unconscious, and she was totally immobilized, and Miss Romaniuk, she was in the shock condition because her face was totally in blood, and she was very scared, and her hands were shaking as whole your body, and that's why we gave her pills to make her into condition, and also we immobilized her hand because it was visible that it was fragmented. So both of these patients, they were sent to the clinical hospital number 2, and after that they were treated there. As I see from the documents from this hospital, Miss Medianet, she has a very it was made a computer tomography to her hand, and it was found shaking of her brain and of the 3rd grade, and but she was still unconscious. She woke up only after 1.5 days after the accident, and unfortunately it was found that she didn't remember anything from the day of the accident and of the 2 days before accident. So the neurologist prescribed to Miss Medianet very serious rehabilitation of her health. It was given, he prescribed her a lot of pills, neurological pills, and also it needs at minimum at 1.5 months to retreat her health. As for Miss Romaniuk, on the way to the hospital, we given her the first medical aid, and we stopped the blood, but it was needed to make some stitches on her face because we couldn't stop the bleeding. So right after the coming to the hospital number 2, we made the surgery to Miss Romaniuk, and after that we made everything that was needed for treating of the fragmentation of her hand, and as it's written in her documents, she needed for the treatment at least 1 month. So another accident was happened also in the January 12, 2019 with Miss Veronika Khudniak, and as it is written in the emergency departure card number 926587, the patient was found unconscious, and the preliminary diagnosis was the closed head trauma and closed fracture of the left leg. So we also came to it happened in the evening about 8 o'clock, and we also sent her to the clinical hospital number 2, and the x-rays showed later the crack of splinter bone, for treatment of which it was needed at least 2 months, and the rehabilitation period was at least 3 months. So as for Kostyuk Victoria, to this place it was sent another emergency brigade, and as it's written in the emergency departure card, the accident happened on January 13 in the evening about 10:12 o'clock, and it was the preliminary diagnosis was fracturing of the wrist. The patient was sent to the clinical hospital number 11, and the treatment for this injury was the gypsum bandage for at least 31 days.
Thank you. Olga Bogdanівна, do you have any documents that confirm the diagnosis of the victims?
Yes, as I know, as all the documents that are confirming the diagnosis, they are already sent to the court, and you can see it attached to the case.
Okay, and I have a question. Have you been at the place of the accident personally?
Yes, I've been on the place of accidents 2 times, actually.
Okay, and can you confirm that the surface was slippery for real?
Yes, I can confirm it because I was in the place of accidents at one day, but twice. It was once was in the morning about 9 o'clock, and still it was slippery surface. And another case was about 8 o'clock, and still there was a slippery surface, like nothing was done. So this is what I seen by my own eyes.
Thank you so much. And plaintiff side, do you have some questions for the Olga Bogdanівna?
No, Your Honor. Any question?
Defender side?
No, now I don't have.
So thank you so much. Olga Bogdanівna, you can take your seat.
Thank you.
Court, why you refuse to talk about the last year your decision? Today are present all citizens of this town. We need to know why you make a decision like that. Today we have the case that is similar to last year. Please tell it to people of the town.
Where is the transparency of the court?
You should keep silence in courtroom.
If you have any questions to the court, you can come after the court hearing and ask everything that you are interested in. If you are going to make any provocations or to make a breakthrough a court hearing, I will be obliged to take you out from the courtroom. So please keep order, and you can consider this statement as the first warning. The second one will be the last. Katerina Mykolaївна, you can...
Yes, of course. Court clerk invites Samofal Igor Gennadievich to the courtroom.
Igor Gennadievich, introduce yourself, please.
Yes. Your Honor, my name is Samofal Igor Gennadievich. I live in Odessa, on the Heroiv Krut Street, house number 2, flat 20. And by this I swear to tell you only truth.
Okay, and Igor Gennadievich, what you can tell us about this accident?
So I was at that evening on the 12th of January. As usual, I was coming home around 6 p.m. The street lights in our yard were barely functioning, and it was snowing. So all the sleepy places were covered with a small layer of snow. I've already had a painful experience of falling down to the ground before, so I set my foot carefully and slowly advanced towards my home. So did those 2 ladies. But just in the blink of the eye, I saw that both slipped down to the ground from the highest stair. That looked just horrible. I rushed forward and tried to help them. But to be honest, I was shocked. I was shocked when I found out that one of them was unconscious, and another mourned from the pain. That was just horrible for me. So the first thing I did was I shouted out for help, but there were nobody, just nobody. So I managed somehow to call the ambulance, and just fortunately they come quite quickly. But that 5 minutes lasted for me like 5 hours, to be honest, yeah.
Okay.
And that's all I can say about that evening. But the most important and the most scenic for me was that the fact that exactly that place in the next morning was full of sand and salt. Just the next morning. That's all I can say.
Thank you so much. And Yegor Gennadievich, you as a tenant of the house, you may see the slippery surface for an undefined period of time. And I want to ask you about the duration of this period.
Actually, I live in, I cannot exactly state that, because I live there only for, I lived at the time only for 3 months. So I didn't see what was exactly last winter, but during that 3 months, actually, and everybody can state in our yard, there are rumors, everyone, so these old ladies on the benches, everyone can state that it has always been so, and just every day. And
Thank you so much. And the plaintiff side, do you have some questions for the organization?
Yes, only one question about the contract between habitant of this house and of course about you. Dear witness, have you already signed the contract as my clients too with the defendant side? Especially I talked about the municipal enterprise Puzovsky as well.
yes, I've already signed the contract and I pay my fees.
You mentioned that you pay your fees. In what amount it is? And it's annually or every month?
Yeah, it ranging from about 500 hryvnias to in winter period to 200 hryvnias. But as you see, that 500 hryvnias just mean nothing.
Yes, it's just mean nothing for defendant side actually. But my clients also claim that they pay some money for the using of such, as we can say so, duty of defendant side. But okay, thank you. It means nothing for
Thank you
defendant
so
side.
much. It was such an important information for the court. And defendant side, do you have some questions for the Yegor Gennadievich?
I have some denying. So we have seen that our company provides services more than for 2,000 people on different streets in whole district, and all scenario is going only in discounts. I think that this case is artificially made for our service to make our work uncomfortable, and our position is next. So we deny all your claims, and we think that you don't have any clear evidences. So we didn't see it already, and everything you say now is only to make our work inescapable. So
Thank you. And Yegor Gennadievich, do you have something to add?
No, I have not.
Okay, then you can take a seat in the courtroom.
Thank you.
We are going to start a video conference with Pavlenko Ivan Antonovich.
Hello, Your Honor.
Good morning. Please keep silent. Good morning, Ivan Antonovich. Introduce yourself, please.
My name is Pavlenko Ivan Antonovich. 25 of May 1999 is the date of birth. I live in Odessa. It's Heroes of Crude Street, point 2, apartment 121. Now I am unemployed and I'm being currently on treatment in Kyiv about what I mentioned in this notion.
Thank you so much. And tell me please facts which you know about the case.
So, about 4 o'clock in the evening at 12th of January, Khudnyak Veronica decided to come to me to bring me some medicine. Then that evening, maybe at 6 o'clock, she said that she want to go home, so I advised her my company to the bus. When she go out from the building, she fall down, and then I asked how is she, and she doesn't give any signs of consciousness. So I decided to call the ambulance, but then I didn't go with her because I've been ill for a long time, as I mentioned.
Thank you so much. And do you have something to add?
Yes, as far as I know, since the first frost, this surface always was iced.
Okay, thank you so much. Plaintiff side, do you have some questions for Ivan Antonovich?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
And defendant side, do you have some questions?
No, I don't.
Okay, so thank you so much, Ivan Antonovich.
Bye.
Court flag starts to read writing testimony of witness Petrovsky Vladislav Felixovich. I am Petrovsky Vladislav Felixovich, living in Odessa on the street Heroiv Road House 2, apartment 43, for 5 years. In the winter period, we rarely may see behind near our house during the period of my stay here. The snow isn't removed clearly and isn't sprinkled in between ice with salt and sand. That service company does not undertake any actions to the clearing of snow and prevent injury during ice. My neighbors were repeatedly lodged complaints with the service company, but no response was. On that January 12th, several of my neighbors slipped and got injured. I decided to photograph the condition of yard as an evidence that wasn't sprinkled or cleaned. This is this photo.
Thank you so much, Katerina Mikolayevna. And do we have more witnesses?
No, my honor.
So the court considered testimonies of witnesses and attached the photos. The court goes to the stage of the court debates. So parties, you are given the word.
May I, Your Honor? And I want to ask the defendant if those all evidence not enough to accept this and to claim you're guilty.
You know my position. The position of our
Yes, we know
service.
your positions, but
Is that
all
what you
evidence
want?
and all witnesses' words are against you, and against your position, and violate all your claims and violate all your positions.
Everybody here saw
Silence in the court.
everything. So
You steal our money.
it is our position, it's your position, so court will decide. It's out of our competence, so I don't mind.
Dear court, all present here, and especially my clients and plaintiff side, have already heard the position of the defendant, and we provide all necessary actions to promote and in future will not promote such situations like this. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Do you have something to add, defendant side?
No, I said everything.
So the parties you are heard, and do you have motions or additions, plaintiff side?
No, Your Honor.
The defendant side?
No, I don't.
Then court goes to the conference room. Please take your seat. So, on behalf of Ukraine, 21st of November 2019, Kyiv District Court of City of Odessa, composing of the presiding judge Krimska Olga Olegivna, secretary of the trial Roshinsky Katerina Mykolaevna, judge assistant Hegelski Maxim Alexandrovich, in civil case 264/1769/19C on the claim of citizens Худняк Вероніки Сергіївни, Медянець Наталії Сергіївни, Романюк Юлії Вікторівни, Ярощук Аліни Сергіївни, Костюк Вікторії Романівни to Municipal Authority, Housing and Utility Service Vuzovsky on the compensation of material and non-material damage caused by the harm to health as a result of snow removal and slippery surface of the building surrounding grounds. Taking into account the complexity of presenting the full text of the court decision related to the need of argumentation, the court considers to declare its introductory and resolutive parts. So the plaintiffs appeal to the court with lawsuit to Municipal Authority, Housing and Utility Service, Vuzovsky, on the compensation of material and non-material damage caused by harm to health as a result of snow removal and slippery surface of the building surrounding grounds. 5 days before the preparatory hearing, witness Pavlenko Ivan Antonovich appealed to the court with a motion for a court hearing in a video conference mode in connection with his state of health. The court allowed witness Pavlenko to testify at the video conference session. During the hearing, the court heard the testimony of the parties, the testimony of the witnesses Grutsak Olga Bogdanivna, Samofala Yegora Gennadievich, and Pavlenko Ivana Antonovich, examined the evidence provided by the parties, and decided. I'm sorry. To testify the claims in full and to oblige the defendant Municipal Authority, Housing and Utility Service Vuzovsky to compensate for material damage in favor plaintiff 1 Natalia Medyanets, IPN 2004, in the amount of 30,000 hryvnias and non-material damage in the amount of 15,000 hryvnias. To compensate material damage in the favor of plaintiff 2 Yulia Olegivna Romanyuk, IPN 9836, in the amount of 25,000 hryvnias and non-material damage in the amount of 10,000 hryvnias. Compensate for material damage in favor of plaintiff 3 Yarощuk Alina Sergeyevna, IPN 2439, in the amount of 29,000 hryvnias and non-material damage in the amount of 10,000 hryvnias. Also compensate for material damage in favor of plaintiff 4 Khudnyak Veronika Sergeyevna, IPN 3614, in the amount of 30,000 hryvnias and non-material damage in the amount of 10,000 hryvnias. And also indemnify material damage in favor of plaintiff 5 Kostyuk Yulia Romanivna, Victoria Romanivna, IPN 3987, in the amount of 25,000 hryvnias and non-material damage in the amount of 10,000 hryvnias. To compensate the plaintiff for the cost incurred by them costing of the cost fees and other costs related to the case. The court decision shall enter into force after the expiry of the appeal period by all the parties to the case if the appeal has not been filed. Also, if the appeal is filed, the decision, if not reversed, shall enter into force on the return of the appeal, refusal to open or close the appeal proceeding, or the adoption of the decision of the Court of Appeal following the results of the appeal review. Also, the parties of the case, as well as the person who did not participate in the case, if the court resolved the issues of the rights, freedoms, interests, or duties, have the right to appeal the decision of the court in the appeal procedure in full or in a part. An appeal against a court decision shall be filed within 30 days from the date of the proclamation. A party of the case who has not been given on the day of its proclamation has a right to renew the missed period for appeal if the appeal is lodged within 30 days from the date of serving of the court decision. The full text of the decision will be made within 5 days. Thank you so much. Спасибо вам за увагу, і ми вам дуже дякуємо, що ви надали нам таку змогу. І це дуже багато для нас значить, і ми вам дуже вдячні. Дякуємо вам.